Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant warned Hezbollah that initiating a conflict would lead to extensive devastation in Lebanon akin to the situation in Gaza. During his visit to Israel's northern border, he remarked, "If Hezbollah commits such an error here, the primary burden will fall on Lebanese citizens. Our actions in Gaza can be replicated in Beirut as well."
וחיזבאללה גורר את לבנון למלחמה שעלולה לקרות, והוא עושה טעויות. אם הוא יעשה טעויות מהסוג הזה כאן, מי שישלם את המחיר זה קודם כל אזרחי לבנון. מה שאנחנו עושים בעזה אנחנו יודעים לעשות בביירות.
Last week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivered a stern message to Hezbollah amidst the mounting tensions in the northern region. He said, "Some believe they can broaden their assaults on our forces and civilians. This is toying with danger. Any fire will be met with a far more formidable response. They should not test us, as we have only revealed a fraction of our capabilities. Those who inflict harm upon us will themselves face repercussions." Similarly, Foreign Minister Eli Cohen cautioned the UN Security Council that the incomplete implementation of its 2006 resolution, which calls for the disarmament of Lebanon's Hezbollah terror group, could potentially trigger a regional conflict. He said, "For the good of regional stability and to avoid further escalation, the next session of the UN Security Council must adopt a totally different approach in order to end the dangerous violations by Hezbollah and other terrorist groups on the border." UN Security Council Resolution 1701 concluded the Second Lebanon War in 2006, stipulating the disarmament of all non-state armed forces in Lebanon. It further mandated the withdrawal of armed forces, excluding the Lebanese army and the UN's peacekeeping mission UNIFIL, from the area between the Israel-Lebanon border and the Litani River, fostering stability in the region. The leader of Hezbollah stated that his armed group recently employed new weaponry and targeted fresh locations in Israel. He affirmed the ongoing activity of the Southern Front against their sworn enemy, emphasizing continuity. This marks Syed Hassan Nasrallah's second address since the commencement of the conflict between Israel and Hamas in October. In his initial statement, he acknowledged the potential for the conflict on the Lebanese front to escalate into a comprehensive war. Nasrallah highlighted an advancement in Hezbollah's operations along the Israeli front, stating, "There has been a quantitative enhancement in the frequency, scale, and diversity of operations, coupled with an expansion in the range of weaponry used." He asserted that Hezbollah had deployed a missile named the Birkin, characterizing its explosive payload as ranging from 300 kilograms to 500 kilograms. Furthermore, he verified that the group had employed weaponized drones for the first time. Nasrallah revealed that, in response to the tragic killing of 3 girls and their grandmother, the group targeted the northern Israeli town of Kiryat Shmona for the first time. Emphasizing continuity, he declared, "This front will remain active." Since October 8, Hezbollah has been engaged in a series of exchanges of fire with Israeli forces along the Lebanese-Israeli frontier, resulting in the death of at least 80 of its fighters. Several civilians have also lost their lives in the crossfire. The reciprocal shelling has primarily been confined to the border region, with Hezbollah predominantly targeting military installations. In response to an Israeli strike in central Syria that claimed the lives of 7 Hezbollah fighters, the group escalated tensions by launching 3 suicide drones against northern Israel. Nasrallah criticized the United States for its role in the Israel-Hamas conflict, asserting that it is the only country capable of halting Israel's extensive offensive in the Gaza Strip, but refrains from doing so. He declared that assaults on U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria, exceeding 40 incidents involving rockets and suicide drone attacks according to Washington, will persist until the conclusion of the conflict in Gaza. On the other side, Al-Akbar reported that enigmatic foreign military cargo flights, possibly transporting equipment for deployment against Hezbollah, persist in landing at Beirut and Hamad airports. Between November 14th and 20th, Intel Sky, a website monitoring regional aircraft movements, documented 9 planes from different NATO countries, including some originating from Tel Aviv, touching down at these airports. Insiders have indicated that the transported cargo includes jamming devices, prompting inquiries into the purpose of their transportation to Lebanon. Questions arise about whether these devices are intended to disrupt the communication network of Hezbollah in the event of an escalation of hostilities with Israel in the southern region of Lebanon. The sources, speaking to Al Akbar, affirmed that security authorities at Beirut and Hamad airports conduct minimal scrutiny of the cargo aboard landing planes. Notably, Hamad Air Base lacks even a scanning device. Additionally, the ultimate destination of the cargo within Lebanon remains undisclosed. Intelsky reported a notable surge in the activity of foreign military aircraft, reaching levels unprecedented in Lebanon for years. From October 8 to November 10, a total of 32 planes landed, with 9 belonging to the U.S., Dutch, and British Air Forces touching down at the Hamad base. Additionally, 23 planes affiliated with the U.S., French, Dutch, Spanish, Canadian, Italian, and Saudi armies landed at the designated base for military and diplomatic aircraft on the west side of Beirut Airport. Despite Lebanese law prohibiting direct flights between Lebanon and Israel, Intelsky observed 3 planes landing at Beirut Airport that originated from Tel Aviv. The Israeli army has refrained from providing detailed comments on the flight, with the exception of a statement issued on November 10 confirming that part of the air traffic at the airport is a routine movement to transfer military aid to the Lebanese army. On the other side, White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby stated that the U.S. has identified an increase in collaboration between Iran and Russia against Israel. He said, "Our information indicates that Wagner Group, under the direction of the Russian government, was making preparations to furnish an air defense capability to either Hezbollah or Iran." In recent weeks, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Wagner Group was making arrangements to provide Iran with the Pantsir S-1, a Russian self-propelled anti-aircraft gun and missile system, recognized by NATO as SA-22. The involvement of Russia in Operation the transfer of an air defense system to Hezbollah underscores Moscow's persistent arms ties with Iran and its proxies, a relationship that has intensified since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Additionally, the United States is apprehensive about indications that Iran might be gearing up to furnish Russia with ballistic missiles. This concern arose following Iran's presentation of such missiles to Russian Defense Minister Shoigu during his visit to Tehran in September. Wagner and Hezbollah fighters have maintained a long-standing presence in Syria, collaborating with Russian and Syrian armed forces to support the Assad regime against Syrian opposition forces. While Hezbollah initiated the withdrawal of its fighters in recent years, the group continues to receive backing from Iran, a staunch ally of Assad. Previous reports from a source familiar with Western intelligence have indicated growing evidence of collaboration between Hezbollah and Wagner in Syria.